Problem 8. Insert the rows with the first letter of person last name between A and J from the new persons table into the person table. So to show you an example of a way you cannot do this, if you run this statement, insert into person, select star from new persons, where the first character of the person name is between A and J, you'll get an error that states an explicit value for the identity column and table person can only be specified when a column list is used and identity insert is on. We're getting this error because when we use the asterisk, the star, to select all columns from the new persons table, that of course includes the person ID column. Since the database automatically assigns a value to the person ID, the person table's identity column, this database is saying, no, I don't want you to give me an explicit value for person ID because I'm going to assign it myself. To get around this error, we have two options. We can either do something like this, here we're listing out the fields we're inserting into and selecting from, similar to what we did when updating rows. We have insert into person with a list of the columns we're going to insert. Then we're selecting the rows from new persons, where the last name starts with the letter A through J. And what we do here is before the statement, we set identity insert for the table person on. Turning that setting on overrides the database design that says the database is going to automatically assign the person ID for every new row in the person table. So if we run this statement, we'll see that we have new rows. Let's do a query here. These rows at the bottom, and the person IDs of the fields we've inserted into person from new persons have the same IDs as the original records in new persons. They still start at 2000. And then of course, after we've done that, we need to set identity insert back to off for the person table. I'm going to delete the rows we just inserted, so delete from person, where the person ID like 2, it begins with 2, and you can see 4 rows were deleted. And now I can show you the other option for inserting the same rows into this table. If we change this statement just slightly by removing the person ID from the field list and the select statement, then we don't have to turn identity insert off anymore because now we're not specifying a person ID. And the database can just go ahead and assign its own person ID like it's set up to do. And so our query looks like this. Now I'm going to delete those rows I've inserted again. Problem 9. Delete the rows from appointment copy where the bill amount and bill due date are null. This is a pretty simple statement. We just delete from appointment copy where the bill amount is null and the bill due date is null. And now if we do a select star from appointment copy, we can see that all the records that are left do have bill amounts and bill due dates. There are no nulls in those two columns. Just to finish up, I'll run the statement delete from appointment copy. This will delete all the rows from the appointment copy table, but not the table itself. We could still select star from appointment copy. And we wouldn't get any results back because there are no rows left, but at this point, the table structure is still there and we could still run an insert statement and insert a new row in the table. And any queries we do on appointment copy will just come back with no results. If we want to completely get rid of the table, all the rows of data, plus the table structure itself, we can drop the table. And we could do that by just running the statement drop table appointment copy. Now all our rows have been completely lost, and if we try to select from the appointment copy table, we'll get an error. Because that table, that object, no longer exists. We've dropped it.